because what happened was I did that video earlier today, which again, I don't know if you saw that one, Enosh, or not. It's like an hour long.
I saw, yes, I did. I did. That was one of the reasons why I was intrigued to come on this one because I you know, it's just it's a crazy time to live. And as you guys were talking, you know, and invited me on, I was just thinking the same thing. It's like I've been a lifelong fan of The Simpsons, obviously. I love Family Guy, no matter what anybody says. I still watch that show and you know, whatever. And it's just like, what are we doing? This is just crashing and burning. And it's like, it's like we're throwing just everything at the wall now and just going, hey, if it could be offensive to somebody, we're just going to do it. And we're not even going to think about it.
What pissed me off, though, is, and it was said earlier, I think in the stream, I think Garrick brought it up in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons episode of Community. The season 2 episode. It's one of I think it's their best episode outside of the paintball episodes, which were directed by the Russo brothers, by the way. But it's a good episode. And the people were mad because Chang was like, I guess in blackface, I forget, like he cosplayed as a drow, which is a dark skinned elf, you know, and that's what it was. That's what got pulled. And that whole episode is literally about getting a guy to not commit suicide. That whole episode is about the gang coming together to keep a dude from killing himself by playing Dungeons and Dragons with him. It was actually a very well done episode, exceptionally well done episode. And then it's just like, oh, there's this. Let's just get rid of it. It's like the context matters. This overreaction and oversimplification from people in Hollywood right now, it goes to show you that they are this is them being afraid. This is what Hollywood looks like, afraid, which is so weird to see.
They're already afraid because of they're taking a big hit this year. Woo!
Yeah, and they're afraid but they're afraid they're going to lose. Like, you're not going to. If you just, like, I'm not saying, like, you know, actively go out and seek to do blackface right now. Like, no, don't do it. Obviously, don't do it. Like, that's stupid. Don't do it. Yeah. But like things happen in a snapshot. Like, I am legitimately waiting for this extremely uber woke crowd to discover Mel Brooks.
Oh,
and then God have mercy on their soul if you try. You know what I mean? Like, God have, like, I will link arms with,
oh my gosh,
with a proto-fascist neo-Nazi KKK member who's like, defend Mel Brooks. We both can laugh at comedy. You know, your opinions are shit and you're gonna burn in hell, but we both agree about Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you wouldn't have to go that far. I hope not. At least if that has to happen,
we're jumping back and forth on that scale, aren't we, Matt?
I have
wow. Like when I was listening earlier, it's like, you know, I'm kind of a
I'll
lefty.
clip that out, man.
And I'm kind of a lefty, and I'm very progressive and stuff. I will march.
Matt, did you hear what you said on this stream?
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'll see you
cancel.
Later. Look how red his face is. I feel Andy Signore's mask is still the lighter shade.
Man.
Okay,
correct yourself now before you
let me no. Okay, well, I did say also, like, your opinions are shit and you'll burn in the fiery pits of hell. I did say that, and I mean that. I am a lefty. I'm 100% lefty, but I'm just
disclaimer.
I'm just saying it's more or less like, listen, comedy is comedy. I'm not a fan of Milo Yiannopoulos anymore, but I do know Milo Yiannopoulos, and he made a good point at one point during his tour. Which I won't repeat because I don't want this channel to get demonetized. But he goes, look, everybody likes to laugh. And it doesn't, he's like, I have seen the most, like, crazy leftist people and the crazy right-leaning people laugh at the same jokes. Mm-hmm. And what it is you got to get them in a room and you got to make them laugh. Because that's the way, in many cases, the way that a lot of comedians they're able to put this information out there. They do it, they convey it in such a way to where it's like, look at Carlin. Carlin was funny.
Yeah.
And he said the horrible things that he said with purpose. And 40 years later, or 30 years later, everyone's like, yeah, okay. You know, there are people that I've seen try to attack Carlin recently, but it's like, no, you just don't understand what Carlin was trying to say. That's what I'm saying. If you go after something like Blazing Saddles, you're an idiot. I don't care who you are. That movie is like, that is one of the funniest goddamn things ever created by man. And it's so anti-racist, but it plays up so many tropes in order to get that message across. So it's just, it's hysterical stuff.
Well, I think you hit it on the head earlier when you were talking about how like this stuff comes around. Like so in the 90s,
Man.
like you were saying, you know, it was really getting hit hard, and we were getting hit over the head with it so hard every day that it was getting to that point where you felt like you couldn't laugh at anything anymore. You couldn't look at anything in a lighthearted way, anything. And then all of a sudden there was the backlash against that. And I think it goes in circles like that. You know, you're going to get these times where eventually somebody's going to wake up, because I'm seeing a lot of people even who are going, wait a second, what are we doing here? Canceling all these, you know, voice actors now all of a sudden, and, you know, trying to drop everything. Because like you said, I don't want to tune into my favorite shows and hear some weird, crazy voice coming out of the character that I've been watching for 20 years.
Or give a disclaimer, like HBO Max, even though they took it, that they gave a disclaimer. It just, I don't know if that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Do something.
Well, here's something. There's an episode of Golden Girls that apparently had blackface in a scene.
I think I remember that now.
And it has been now excised from the episode.
Oh wow.
So Robert Meyer Burnett just said, so I guess common sense has flown out the window. And Robert Meyer Burnett, he lefty as fuck. So, you know, the left, you're getting what it is you're going, once you start to piss off the moderates, you are in for a world of shit. Because when the moderates get angry, it takes a lot to get them there. They're the ones, they're the consumers. They're the consumers. They're the ones in the middle. They're the middle America. They're the middle class. Those are predominantly the moderates. And you're going to, if you anger them, you are actually angering people who spend money. And that is going to end up causing a lot of problems. It's not the extremes. It's not the fringes. They're the loud, most vocal ones, and they get the most grease for those wheels.
Yes.
But they're not the ones you have to watch out for. And that's what I was trying to say earlier today in my stream when I was going off about, you know, all that shit. Like these people just hang out and, you know, these people on Twitter, they hang out in Starbucks. Like, oh, I hate capitalism, but they're in a Starbucks on an $800 iPhone sipping a latte. And, you know,
in the Starbucks, when's the next iPhone come out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just released a new like I think it's like an XLS or whatever the hell it's called, or it's like a cheaper model iPhone. It's got the iPhone 11. I don't know.
I have an iPhone. I don't know what number it is. I don't.
But that is legitimately like the problem though. The problem is these people are not. They're hypocrites. I mean, and look, yes. I will be the first person to say I'm a hypocrite too in a number of ways. You know, like. A lot of us are. We are. Whether it's you know, it's accidental in many cases. Life gets busy. We might not see something some way or whatever. We're all hypocritical, but it's like still having that acknowledgement of growth as a human, of what you're trying to do that's better. That's where and honestly, like both left and right, they fail miserably. You know, I'm so, like, and again, the lefties are psycho as hell when it comes to this cancel culture shit. It cracks me up when the right wing goes you know, they're like hashtag all lives matter, but then they want to bomb abortion clinics. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you know, I mean, you can't really, you know, or no, they want to take Medicare away from the homeless, or they want to, you know, something along those lines. And you're like, but wait, didn't Jesus like take a fish and bread and do all this, you know, right with it, like hand tricks?
So yeah, man. Well, you know, the thing is that people forget, I think, a lot of times that those of us who live in the middle and who try to just respect our fellow man and try to look at it that way instead of trying to be on the fringe. I mean, I get accused because I'm a person of faith and I work in that field. I am not,
so I'll probably offend you.
No. And see, here's the thing, Matt, you will not offend me. Okay, I'm a person.
Well, now it's a challenge.
What? No,
I'm kidding.
Hey, look, if I can go through that, no, trust me.
Another man of faith.
Listen.
In the chat.
No, I said, hey, what's going on, Ambassador? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, no, listen. I'm a man of faith, but I am not easily offended. And the thing is I keep running into that where people will be like, oh, well, you know, well, don't you feel this way about this item or that item? And it's like, no, man, I work in that field. Okay. So I'm a minister, and that's what I do for a living. Okay. But our church is we have so many different people from so many different sides that it's like, I always laugh when people think that I'm one side or another, or people because there's people who assume that because I'm a man of faith that, well, you must feel this way on this social issue, or you must feel this way on this social issue. And then we've got people who are on the other end of that. And I tell people, look, I'm on the side of common sense. Okay. I'm on the side that looks at it and says, you know what? When Jesus came for people. He didn't hang out with a bunch of rich people. He came for the common man. And like you said, he had compassion on people in the Bible where he fed 5,000 people. You know what I mean? Like that was it. But everybody wants to raise this flag and act like that because you're of a certain idea, you know, or because you follow a certain creed, that all of a sudden that means that you go along with what all these other people do, you know, and what all these other people think. And that's just not true. I am not easily offended. I will sit here and say, I love Blazing Saddles. You know what I mean? Like my wife, look, I wish my wife was here. My wife is the biggest Mel Brooks fan you will ever meet. Okay. And so the thing is like, that's just, it's getting to a point where we stop looking at everybody as you either have to change them to think like you, or you're going to crush them, and just realize that people have different opinions, different thoughts, different backgrounds, and everything doesn't have to offend you. Look, it doesn't offend me when somebody goes off on a tirade, you know, on you know, something because he got a $10 super chat. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't offend me, because I realize, look, we're human beings and we may not agree on everything, but you know what? We're here talking about the stuff that we do agree. We're talking about movies and stuff. And if we want to have a civil discussion about something that we don't disagree about, I promise people I'll have a civil discussion all day long. But don't yell and scream at me and tell me what I'm supposed to think. And I won't do the same to you. It's common sense, but